The church doors burst open just as the organ reached its loudest note, and every head turned when a bride in white ran straight into the arms of a man holding a small boy. In that frozen second, no one knew that this single dad was about to change his life forever, or that the woman escaping the altar was a billionaire choosing to lose everything for one honest chance at happiness. He had only come to fix a broken car. Daniel Reyes had learned to say yes to extra work, even on Sundays. Being a single father meant saying no to sleep, comfort, and pride. His 7-year-old son, Noah, sat on the church steps with a toy truck, waiting patiently while Daniel finished helping an elderly woman whose car had stalled near the grand stone building. Inside, bells rang and music swelled, rich and polished. Nothing like Daniel's world of overdue bills and secondhand clothes. Daniel wiped grease from his hands when the church doors flew open. A woman in a wedding dress stumbled out, breathless, her eyes wild with fear. Guests gasped behind her, whispers rising like a storm. She locked eyes with Daniel, as if he were the only solid thing left in a world closing in. "Please," she whispered, clutching her skirt. "Help me." Before Daniel could think, Noah stood and held out his toy truck to her. "You look like you need to go fast," he said softly. Something in the woman broke. Tears streamed down her face as she grabbed Daniel's hand. Heavy footsteps thundered behind her. Angry voices, security, a furious groom shouting her name. Daniel didn't ask questions. He never had the luxury to hesitate when someone was in trouble. He took her to his old pickup, lifting Noah inside, and drove. The city blurred past as the bride shook beside him, ripping off her veil like it was choking her. She laughed once, sharp, almost hysterical, then cried so hard she could barely breathe. Daniel kept his eyes on the road, heart pounding, knowing this choice might cost him everything. "I'm Elena," she finally said, "and if they find me, they'll drag me back." Daniel didn't know it yet, but Elena Vale was one of the richest women in the country. He only knew she was terrified. They stopped miles away, at a small diner that smelled of coffee and fried onions. Elena stared at the cracked vinyl seats, the flickering lights, as if she had entered another universe. She expected judgment. Instead, Daniel slid a menu toward her. "You're safe here," he said quietly. No one asked questions in places like this. That was the first night Elena slept without guards, contracts, or expectations. On Daniel's couch, wrapped in an old blanket, listening to Noah breathe softly from the next room. And for the first time in her life, no one wanted anything from her. By morning, reality came crashing back. News alerts lit up every screen. Billionaire bride disappears from wedding. Daniel's face went pale when he recognized her. "You should go," he said. "I can't protect you from all that." Elena looked at Noah, then at Daniel's tiny apartment, the peeling paint, the honest exhaustion in his eyes. "I don't want that life anymore," she said. "I've lived in cages made of gold. I want something real, even if it's hard." Daniel wanted to believe her, but hope was dangerous. He had built his life on survival, not dreams. Still, days turned into weeks. Elena learned to cook simple meals, to laugh at Noah's jokes, to walk without heels. She sold her jewelry quietly, donated millions anonymously, and disappeared from the world that had owned her. Trouble came anyway. Her former fiancé tracked her down, bringing lawyers, threats, and promises. He mocked Daniel's small life, his old truck, his empty bank account. He told Elena she would regret throwing away power for poverty. That night, Daniel packed her bag for her. "I won't let my son grow up in the middle of a war he didn't choose," he said, voice breaking. "You deserve peace, even if it's not with us." Elena watched Noah sleeping, then turned to Daniel. "I choose this life," she said firmly. "I choose you." The court battle was brutal. Headlines were cruel. Daniel nearly lost his job. But Elena stood strong, not with money, but with truth. She exposed the lies, the manipulation, the forced marriage disguised as a business deal. The world listened, not because she was rich, but because she was honest. Months later, the noise faded. They stood in a small park, no cameras, no crowds. Noah ran ahead, laughing. Elena took Daniel's hand, not as a billionaire, not as a bride on the run, but as a woman who had finally found freedom. I didn't escape a wedding, she said softly. I escaped a life that wasn't mine. Daniel squeezed her hand. He had helped a stranger once out of instinct. In return, life had given him something he never dared to ask for. A family built not on wealth or status, but on courage, kindness, and the choice to begin again. And sometimes, the greatest riches come when you help someone run toward their truth and discover your own along the way.